Welcome back, guys, to another episode of EEDC News. This is episode 4, and in this episode, we're going to be talking about what was in your pocket. Not just my pocket, your pocket. I genuinely want to know. I think it's really cool to hear what you guys are carrying, and some of you guys carry some pretty wild stuff. Next, I'm going to talk about 2 new knives that I'm pretty excited to check out. Haven't checked them out yet. One of them is on order. The other one I know will make it into my collection fairly soon. And then last, we are going to talk about current events. And you know what that means.
There's gonna be girls there, you know what that means?
Drama.
So let's get into the pocket check. First, in my 5th pocket today, I was carrying the Kershaw Launch 10. I don't need to go on and on, because those of you that have been with the channel for quite some time probably get tired of hearing about this. I got this as a Christmas gift. I first saw it and I'm like, man, that's kind of small, but cool. It's a cool thought, you know, you get the gift. Man, this knife is so freaking cool. This hawk-shaped blade is just so damn useful, it's silly. And when it snaps open, it rocks your hand and it's so small. This is just a really cool, super easy to carry knife. By comparison with what was in my main pocket, the Benchmade Mini Adamas, as you can tell, much smaller. Speaking of my main pocket, the Benchmade Mini Adamas. This is the one that I believe is a SHOT Show exclusive, I'm not sure. I got it in a trade on Reddit, and I'm actually kind of happy I did. When I checked out the Mini Adamas the first time, I had said it was awesome. Now, it might be slightly too small for your hands, and I don't know if I take that back or not, because my hands fit in there pretty good, but they are locked in, as you can see. They're locked in pretty well. I'm going to go on record to say the Adamas and Mini Adamases have some of the best action of any Benchmade that I've ever felt. This is right up there with the Super Freak, because the Super Freak's really close to that. The action on the Super Freak was just phenomenal. But this guy, in crew wear, you're not going anywhere. You're not going to let go of this knife once you're using it, so it's not going to slip out of your hands. The action, everything about this, it's like kind of a little beefcake, but badass. And genuinely, leave it in the comments below what's in your pocket. I seriously want to know. Next are knives that I'm excited about that are either coming soon or new. I only have 2. I had 3, and to be perfectly honest, I was kind of forcing this segment, and I don't even remember what the 3rd one was. So it doesn't make this list because I don't remember it. I'm clearly not excited about it, right? But these 2 I am. The first one is one that I have on pre-order right now, and that is the Urban EDC LC. Now this guy is coming in at $290 for M390, your typical titanium frame lock. I think the blade length's anywhere around 3 to 3.2 inches. It's relatively small, relatively narrow, designed by Trevor Berger. And if you guys can't tell already, I definitely have a taste in knives. You guys know I'm a Ray Laconico fanboy. Trevor Berger's designs aren't much more flashy than Ray's, right? It's kind of simple, but kind of awesome. And I went against the grain on this one on my pre-order. I wanted to get the black on black, but I'm fairly certain, I don't even remember anymore, but I'm fairly certain at the last minute I switched it to the green with like the tan inlay, the micarta inlay, and then it has like a stonewash blade. I can't wait for this thing to come in. It's due to be shipped by the end of the year or early 2023. If you guys still want to get in on it, the pre-order is still open from what I can see. So $290. I believe if they drop outside of the pre-order, you're looking at close to $320 to $340. Next on the list is a knife that I have just dubbed as the pound for pound when it comes to money king of all knives. This is a knife that, no, it's not the King EDC. In my opinion, this is the best bang for your buck knife, and they gave it an upgrade. The Hogue K320, or the Hogue Sig Sauer K320, came out with aluminum handle, specifically the drop point version. Now, this knife in its base form was coming in at like $120. Yes, you're getting the FRN scales, but kind of like the Benchmade Redoubt, it's a knife that you wanted to use. If you guys ever felt the K320, it is possibly one of the most comfortable knives you've ever felt. You feel like it's not going anywhere. It's beefy enough that you could probably do some dumb stuff with it and it'll last through it. The action on it is stupid, and now they made it in aluminum, so if you don't like the FRN scales, you can get the aluminum scales, which I'm going to do. Can't wait for it. White Mountain Knives doesn't have the one I want, and I usually like shopping through them. But with S30V, just even the FRN for 120, 130, or getting the aluminum ones for I think 160, it is still one of the best bangs for your buck and all around just a workhorse of a knife. All right, so the main focus for today is some drama in the community, guys. Today we're going to be talking about transparent knives versus Hinderer. Those of you that don't know, I'll give a quick backstory on transparent knives. I don't necessarily know his name. I think his last name is Kim, Brian Kim, I think. And I have no relation, no friendship, nothing like that to this dude. I do follow him on Instagram because he's wicked intelligent. This kid is like 19, 20, 21 years old, and he dove so deep into heat treatment of blades. He started making his own blades. He's the guy that has all those cool bug out reblades, all the 940 reblades, all the 80-20.5 reblades, and they look sick, and he's heat treating them like a boss, man. He'll take M390 up to like 64 where it's supposed to be, as opposed to 59 to 60 or 59 to 61. Looking at you, Chris Reeve, Hinderer, and everybody else who does M390, right? So he started down this path, from what I can tell, just to learn more about knives and just enjoy his hobby and kind of make something of it. And he's starting to realize that the 59 to 60 or 59 to 61 for M390, which is our most coveted blade steel in $200 plus knives, is not heat treated properly most of the time. What he found was those lower heat treat ranges, 59 to 61 HRC, for M390 isn't optimal, and you're not actually gaining much of that M390 benefit. Sure, you have the corrosion resistance, because that's not so much dependent on heat treat, but your edge retention is, for sure. And so you try to balance how hard can you get it without like obliterating the toughness. And what he found is that optimally it should be between 63 and 64. So in the process, he's calling out some knife makers. He's like, hey guys, like, you guys charge a lot for your knives and they're supposed to be a premium knife, but you're not giving us the maximum output for what we're paying. I mean, you don't want to buy a knife that's soft, because A, you can't actually polish half of those edges because they're so soft that they lose their bite. And yeah, sure, they're tough. They're not going to chip, but you're losing most of your blade life because you're not heat treating it properly. And most is an exaggeration. So in the process of calling some people out, Hinderer got a little upset. And I do believe he called Hinderer out specifically, but understand this kid's demeanor. He may be talking to us, and he might be like, yeah, Hinderer, why the F are you, doing this? But he's not coming at them from a standpoint of negativity. It's a standpoint of like, I don't understand why this is happening. Why are we paying $425 for G10, a titanium liner lock with M390 that is no better performing than Wee's M390 at $200? Is basically what he's saying. Is it hard to argue with? Yeah, I mean, I agree with the kid. If we're going to pay $400, then, why is it doing this? Well, anyways, when he poses the question, a lot of times people will come back and explain themselves. They'll come back and he screenshots it and he'll tell you all about it. Not Hinderer. Hinderer was pissed. So they actually issued a cease and desist. And this is all from my understanding and recollection. I'm not showing you guys any pictures. I'm not showing you nothing, because he is currently in a legal battle with Hinderer. And so I'm not trying to hurt his case or anything like that by posting stuff that might hurt him. I'm just talking to you guys about the situation and giving my opinions. So Hinderer issued a cease and desist and basically stated that this kid, 19, 20 years old, has to pay him back thousands of dollars because he lost business because what this kid was saying. What this kid was saying was factually true. So it's kind of this weird situation. Well, apparently not in the legal system, because they are still going at it. Hinderer actually issued this thing, and part of the settlement was this kid had to apologize publicly and take back everything he said. Okay, you are one of the most famous knife makers in our community, and you're requiring an apology from a 19 to 20-year-old kid and thousands of dollars, regardless of what he said. There's, like, what? Like, why do you even have that time? But B, it's freaking true. So you can go to Knife Steel Nerds and kind of verify everything this kid's saying from an objective standpoint, because all they did was they went over there and they take a look at what is the maximum for edge retention versus the toughness ratio, right? And all that data is over there. This kid just followed the footsteps of Larry Thomas. He doesn't have necessarily the degree, but he's passionate about it. And whenever you're passionate about something, you learn. So all in all, Hinderer is suing this kid and basically saying that he lost business because of what this kid's saying. I'm going to make a point here. You really didn't lose business, A, because every time I look at your stuff, it's always sold out. So don't tell anybody that you lost business. And whatever business you lost, go make up for it with your $200 freaking scale piece that you sell us because you give us G10 $425. I really don't agree with Hinderer's stance on this, regardless of whether or not they agree with him. Their actions to sue this kid and then pursue it further. Like, they're not like you have to apologize to the community. You have to take down all your stuff. And then you still have to pay me thousands of dollars to make up for the business that I lost, or whatever the case is, right? It ain't right. I'll say it publicly. That's not right. That's the big man going after a little kid. If you let him get underneath your skin, it's either A, because he's right, or your skin's too thin. Either or, you need to fix your problem and not take it out on this kid. Or, better yet, why don't you ask yourself, how can we make these blade steels harder? Because this is what our community of people that purchase my product actually want. No, you're not going to do that. You're just sticking to your guns. So publicly, I'm going to issue this statement, and you guys can put this on the record. I don't agree with anything that Hinderer Knives is doing in this case. I had a bunch of Hinderers. You guys know, especially the ones that follow my channel, know that Hinderer skinny sheep's foot was my freaking jam. I did so much to that. I babied that. I modded it myself. Oh God, I love that knife. When all this stuff went down, I sold my 3-inch. And then next, it was hard to let go, but I sold that 3.5-inch sheep's foot. I want no part of a company that's going to treat somebody like that. And I don't know if you guys are anything like me. I value customer service and the way I'm treated almost more than the product itself. And rather than drone on about negative stuff, because I could just continue to give my opinions on this all day, all I'm going to say is that you should go check out these people. Curtis Blades, fantastic dude. I know some of you had a bad experience. I had an awesome experience with that dude. He rebladed my F3 skinny medium Warncliffe for free, and I was the third owner of this knife. So I sent it in, and I'm like, hey man, I'm having a little bit of back and forth issues or up and down issues with the lock. He rebladed it with a Magna Cut blade, which wasn't already in there, for free, and then sent it back. And I had like a 20-minute conversation with the man. Awesome. EEDC, I always talk about Johnny. He was the first guy that made me love customer service, because in talking with him, he is awesome and very open. Now, if you come at him sideways, he's just not going to give you the time of day. And I understand that point too. Vero Engineering. I got in contact with them because I had an issue with the bearing. They had the bearings back out to me in like 5 days, no charge. And not just knife manufacturers and designers, stores. Look at White Mountain Knives. Justin at White Mountain Knives has had my business since I found them because of how awesome he is. Are his prices the best? Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. Even with the 10% discount code, sometimes you can find it cheaper. But his customer service and his ability to explain things to you, to listen, he'll take anything back, it's just phenomenal. E-Knives, they're a new one busting out in the scene. I just ordered a knife from them, got it in. I want to say it was the Solar Storm from Merrick Oaks. Got it in, they wrote me a handwritten thank you letter, right? I decided to prove it. Here you go. This is handwritten. And it's not a big deal to some people. This means a lot to me. You put effort and thought into what you do. You care about your people. That's awesome. A little bit of swag. And they sent some Starbursts along the way, which were gone like that. Love it, just like Vero. So there's a lot of good people out in this community. There's a lot of good companies, a lot of good designers, and a lot of good manufacturers. But we shouldn't have to put up with kind of the bullying style fashion that some of these knife makers and designers do. And I'm not afraid to list it either. Hinderer just made the list from that. Medford, we've all seen what he does at blade shows and the racial stuff that he puts out there. Not to mention the attention that he gives his customers and how he basically says, screw you, that's not how it's supposed to be, I'm the maker. Microtech bullying all other companies into not selling other products other than their own. It's almost exhausting at how much drama there is in this community and how entitled some of these groups feel. That's why, like I said, E-Knives, Vero, EMP EDC, Curtis Blades, White Mountain Knives. Let's raise the standard and say this is exactly what we want in our community. We want this positive support. We want you to treat us like an individual and not just like another sales number. We want you to actually listen, because there's other communities, but not many like ours, that are so passionate about what they do. I'm sorry, you gotta do it that way. You have to listen. You don't have to do what we say, but you still have to listen, because otherwise you're not part of this community. So at the end of it, I was a little light on the details from Transparent Knives and Hinderer. What I don't want to do is get him into any more trouble, but it needs to be known if you guys don't already know about it. It's kind of bullshit. And that's how we're going to end it, on some bullshit. My name is Tyler. This is Everyday EDC. You guys stay sharp, stay safe, and have a great freaking rest of your day. Thanks for watching.